Alrighty, everybody. Good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining me here at the Atlanta News First Alert Desk. I'm Savannah Louie, anchor here at Atlanta News First, and we've got your top stories for the Atlanta area this evening. Glad you could be with us here on this Friday night. All right, we are going to get straight into it, starting with a story that we have an update on, and this is a pretty positive update tonight, as we're tracking news about fentanyl-laced letters that were on their way to Fulton County. We're learning now tonight that tainted mail addressed to the Fulton County Elections Office in Fairburn has been located. Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger confirming the news earlier today. The fentanyl-laced letter was mailed out earlier this week, by the way, and that letter is one of more than a dozen sent to several states across the U.S. Federal officials believing the letters were mailed from somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. They haven't given a specific location, but we are tracking this story very closely as we continue to listen to the latest updates from officials in regards to this investigation. All right, guys, I want to bring you back here to another story out of Fulton County, this one surrounding a big recount. Earlier this week, we had elections here in Georgia, well, across the country here, but this specific story really looking at Fulton County, as right now a massive effort is underway to recount votes in the Fulton County election. I'm going to have our reporter, Patrick Quinn, explain what went on and what they're doing right now.
In what they said was a move of transparency, the Fulton County Elections Office tells me they're doing a full recount of every race voted on during Tuesday's local elections. Officials said they had a number of close ones and wanted to double-check the results to be absolutely certain about things. The recount will include the Atlanta Public School Board races and a few city council and mayoral races elsewhere. The recounts will all take place on Monday at the Fulton County Elections headquarters, and they should be finished by the end of that same day. Fulton County told Atlanta News First this today. They said, quote, the Fulton County Elections Board of Registration and Elections is, by its own motion, ordering a recount of the votes in all contests in the November 7, 2023 general municipal and special elections conducted by Fulton County. The recount will be held to confirm the accuracy of the election results before election certification.
All right, and again, that was our Patrick Quinn there reporting. I want to move on to our final story for this evening. This one, unfortunately, it's that time of year again. Folks are getting sick. Maybe you yourself have had a bit of a bout with the flu or a stuffy nose. Well, bad news for families. RSV cases for children are up here in Georgia. Right now, officials and health experts are saying we need to take immediate action to keep those kids healthy. We have our Atlanta News First reporter, Brittany Ford, who's going to explain this story for us tonight.
A look inside one of the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta emergency rooms shows what healthcare officials across the state are seeing: an increase in RSV patients.
So we've been seeing very high volumes for about the past 3 to 4 weeks.
ER doctors say they've been inundated with patients, mostly infants and young children, causing exponentially long wait times, highlighting RSV cases spiked earlier this year than years past. Healthcare officials say it's important for parents to know the signs.
Other signs and symptoms that parents can look for are blue in the nail beds, blue around the mouth. Any type of struggling to breathe really should require immediate attention.
Stressing to families the importance of getting vaccinated and proper hygiene practices.
This is the time when we expect to have lots of people in the emergency room.
It's funny.
And again, that was our Brittany Ford there reporting. All right, guys, I want to thank you so much for being here on this Friday night. I know there is nothing you would rather do than to spend your Friday evening with me, other than spend your Friday night with Cutter Martin.
Yes.
I was getting there. If you could let me finish a sentence. Oh, my goodness. This is what I deal with on a daily basis, people. I'm just playing. Cutter's my buddy.
Yeah.
All right.
Likewise.
All right, we have First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin standing by on deck. Cutter, you've been tracking a little wet weather in the forecast. Now it's time for the weekend. I know you're ready to get out there, get your party on.
Yeah, sure.
Is the rain is it gonna rain on your parade?
No. If you are going out within the next few hours, if you have dinner plans, maybe after dinner drink plans, just have the late run plan this evening after work, a little bit of a lull in the rain, a break from the action, but there is more wet weather on the way, more wet weather to be had, and more rainy conditions to plan around. So please do keep that in mind. We are not yet done with the rain. There is certainly more on the way, hence the first alert for both Saturday and Sunday. In the first alert forecast, we're going to be dealing with this rain for some time to come. It won't rain constantly through the entirety of the weekend. There will be breaks in the wet weather Saturday. There will be breaks in the wet weather Sunday, nonetheless. But in about that 48-hour period, certainly there is going to be some wet weather around. So again, thank you for tuning in and for watching. I'm First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin. We are live on Facebook right now. Wesley Millsap is commenting. Also live at AtlantaNewsFirst.com, the Atlanta News First app, First Alert weather app, Roku, Amazon Fire Stick. All those places are great. But if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, you need any part of the forecast addressed, feel free to navigate over to YouTube at Atlanta News First is the account to like and to follow and to ask your questions on. Again, we'll take you live outside. I'm going to rat in some weather graphics here, and we'll talk weather here in just a moment. A bit of a break right now, but there is some weather to be had, and we're going to be tracking that here, moving in pretty quickly, probably before midnight. Rain becoming more widespread and spreading back into North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. Rain moving in from the south and west. So if you open up the First Alert weather app and you expand that view regionally, zoom out to show Georgia, Alabama, and the rest of the area, you will notice rain is going to be increasing from southwest to north and east. In fact, already doing just that. Moving rather quickly, just a little bit ago, about an hour ago, on the news at 7, we were tracking rain in Mississippi. That rain now almost all the way to Birmingham, and we're going to put an ETA on this, timing it out. Roughly going to be moving into North Georgia by 11 p.m. or so. Again, this is the leading edge, not necessarily the guaranteed time that rain will be steady in your area, but let's track it out. Into Rome by 10:30, Atlanta by 1:06 a.m. We're watching that midnight to 1 a.m. time frame, I should say, for rain to at least become steady, probably even some sprinkles and some light showers ahead of that time. But that is why we have the first alert. More rain is on the way tonight into tomorrow. Hour by hour forecast. A bit of a lull in the rain right now. 20% chance of rain through the rest of the 8 o'clock hour. 30% by 10 a.m. Notice 1 a.m. 50%, and there is that first alert. 4, 5, 6 a.m. rain becoming widespread, and in a couple of places could be heavy from time to time. Not that it's going to cause any flooding or anything like that, but rain could be briefly heavy. First alert. Rain is in the forecast tonight. And it will linger off and on into our Saturday and into our Sunday. Here is the hour-by-hour forecast, expanding beyond the city of Atlanta. Let's bring you to 8 o'clock. Notice how widespread that rain is. Upper 40s to near 50 in the mountains. Lower 50s just about everywhere else. A morning where temperatures are not going to range all that much across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta because we have the clouds in play. Temperatures cooling at just about the same rate. So just know that almost everyone waking up to temperatures in the lower 50s tomorrow morning with rain falling. Going deeper into the morning, here we are at noon. Brunch plans tomorrow, lunch plans tomorrow, coffee before lunch tomorrow, maybe trying to get a morning run in tomorrow. You're all going to be dealing with rain, especially from Metro Atlanta on to the south, I-20 corridor to the south, I-85 corridor into the upstate of South Carolina. It'll be a wet drive before noon Saturday. If you live in Blue Ridge, Calhoun, Rome, Chattooga County, on up into Walker County, areas that desperately need the rain, unfortunately, going to miss out from the bulk of the steady rain. A little bit of moisture up there. Had a little bit of rain this morning, too. But you need the rain. Exceptional drought conditions up in extreme northwest Georgia, and the steadies of the rain looks to remain to your south and east. Here we are, 4 p.m., just a bit of a break in the forecast. I do think some rain around, with temperatures hovering in the upper 40s, lower 50s for Saturday evening plan. So chilly, kind of misty and damp. And then notice how rain quickly starts to redevelop after a brief, again, another lull, Saturday, late evening into Saturday night, but back in the forecast for our Sunday, rain becoming widespread. And some of the rain Sunday morning could be a moderate to heavy at times. So your Saturday, day, night forecast, I think scattered rain around in the evening. There's that 8, 9, 10 o'clock lull. And then heading to the wee hours of our Sunday morning, we're going to bring up that rain chance once again. You're probably going to wake up for brunch plans, for church plans Sunday, to a widespread steady rain. Temperatures chilly, upper 40s, lower 50s, factor in a breeze. It will feel a few degrees cooler than that. So you will want the rain jacket. You will want the jacket for your Sunday plans. Keep that in mind. Good news, though, we do need the rain, and we have even further opportunities for rain, even after Sunday. Here is the extended forecast. First alert Saturday because of the periods of wet weather. Same story Sunday. More periods of rain that could impact the outdoor plants in particular. Looking drier Monday. And then there is a little bit of uncertainty as we head into midweek. There is going to be a coastal low. Very typical for an El Nino pattern, basically an area of low pressure developing along the coast. Not tropical, not going to get a name or anything like that, but a winter-type low, almost like a nor'easter, developing along the Gulf Coast, spreading rain into the Texas Gulf Coast, the western Gulf Coast, and then the Mid-South and the Southeast. That rain starts to build in potentially as early as Tuesday. But first alert, rain looking most likely most widespread on our Wednesday. Right now at 50%, we will likely be increasing that. So first alert to the potential for more widespread rain. And obviously with this cool air settling back into North Georgia, also with more moisture, more clouds, more rain in the forecast, talk about a cool 7-day. 54 tomorrow, an average afternoon temperature. Not much warmer Sunday, mid-50s. Lower 60s after a cooler start Monday, feeling fall-like for sure. Same story Tuesday. And if that rain moves in a little earlier Tuesday, we may not manage 60. But right now, that's the best bet with rain arriving late in the day. Though could arrive a little earlier. We're fine-tuning the specific details behind the forecast for timing, especially of the rain. And then first alert Wednesday, with rain kind of socked in, we may stay upper 40s, lower 50s all day long Wednesday. And with this particular system, breezy winds a possibility. And then as we get into Thursday and Friday, high temperatures trending back just a little milder, but we're talking cool conditions, especially afternoons. Mornings, about average, not too much cooler than average because of all the clouds. If it was a clear sky, of course, we'd get colder at night, but with all the clouds in play, a little milder. But those same clouds that keep overnights in check and not all that cold, they also keep our afternoons a little bit chillier. So again, want to remind you, full forecast coming up. I'm going to have the 10 o'clock half hour, 10 to 10:30 on Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW affiliate. Then first alert meteorologist Fred Campania will have 10:30 to 11 on Peachtree TV, and then we're back on WANF, Atlanta News First for the late news at 11. Of course, with the time change, we get data even earlier in the Weather Center. So any fine-tuning of the forecast, any last-minute changes, you can not only catch it on TV this evening, both Peachtree TV and on Atlanta News First, but also in the First Alert Weather app and at atlantanewsfirst.com. For now, we'll leave you with a temporarily dry look across the downtown connector towards Midtown Atlanta, downtown, and the distance there, Decatur. Lots of clouds, but break from the rain. It returns tonight into tomorrow. Have the plan B for outdoor plans. Keep the umbrella by the door, and rain alerts turned on this weekend in the First Alert Weather app.